Good morning. Happy Sunday. Today, Sunday, in the Christian tradition is the Sabbath day, a day that we set aside in Christianity from which unity has arisen to honor and to celebrate rest and connection and reconnection with Spirit. Sabbath comes from the Hebrew Shabbat, which actually does mean rest and to desist from activity. And in the Jewish tradition, it is a day. It begins at sundown on Friday and extends until sundown on Saturday. It's a very special time when we, in that tradition where people do stop from the activity of their lives and connect. And I think in some ways we, in our tradition, maybe have lost sight of that. For us, it seems to be that for Sabbath is celebrated maybe for some of us for an hour on Sunday morning when we come together for a service or something like that. We have missed that. I think, when I was a kid, I remember there were stores were not open on Sunday, and kids did not play sports on Sunday. There were actually blue laws against activity on Sunday, and we've sort of lost that in our tradition. It becomes more of, we're all about the activity and what's next, and so today I want to invite us into experiencing some sort of a Sabbath today in this hour that we have together. So things will be a little bit different today. You'll hear a little bit more music. We have the amazing Lauren Sheely with us today. She is going to be blessing us with several songs today, and we'll have a little more time in quiet. I can't not talk, so I will be sharing a few thoughts and ideas along the way between the songs and maybe doing some guided meditation as well. But I want to invite you into that experience. In our tradition, we celebrate Sabbath for a couple of reasons. One is that on Sunday, in the creation story in Genesis, it tells us that God created the world in 6 days. And on the seventh day, God rested. And for most of Christianity, we celebrate Sunday as the seventh day. Some Christians celebrate Saturday as the Sabbath. And it's also a day when we celebrate in Christianity the resurrection of Jesus. We believe Jesus resurrected on a Sunday, so we honor that as well. But there's something in the traditional understanding of the story, the creation story, that in the Hebrew tradition, the Jewish tradition, I think has more meaning than sometimes we understand, or maybe we've lost some part of the story. And in his book, Wayne Muller's book, Sabbath, Finding Rest, Renewal, and Delight in Our Daily Lives, he talks about that, and he says in the book, I can find it here, that in the traditional understanding in the Jewish tradition of the creation story is that on the seventh day, God finished creation. And then God rested. And what many rabbis say is that in finishing creation, God created what is known as menuah, which means rest, peace, tranquility. And so in that tradition, creation is not complete without rest, without a time for reflection and connection. And again, I think very often we miss that piece of the story in our tradition. We don't stop and rest. It also talks about later in Exodus. I want to read this for you. It's just very short. He says, later in the book of Exodus, we read, "In 6 days God made heaven and earth, And on the seventh day, God rested and was refreshed. Here the word refreshed, quote, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but it was venafesh, literally means, and God exhaled. The creation of the world was like the life-quickening inhale. The Sabbath is the exhale. Thus, in the beginning, all creation moves with the rhythm of the inhale and the exhale. Without the Sabbath exhale, the life-giving inhale is impossible. So I think for many of us, we're sort of waiting to exhale. We have been waiting for a while, especially this past year and a half, to just exhale, to rest, to come to rest. You know, in the story, the creation story there's so much about the breath of God, the breath of life, ruah, the breath, that God breathed life into creation. God breathed life into us. The very life-giving energy, life energy, in which we live and move and have being, as the Apostle Paul would say. It's always moving, always flowing. And we can connect with it simply by allowing ourselves to breathe. And so today, as I said, I'd like to invite us into Sabbath. If the lights are a little dimmer today, as you notice, and that may be contributing to some of you falling asleep, and that's okay. Just be aware you might start snoring and your neighbor might nudge you a little bit, but it's okay. Because I think, too, sometimes in our culture, we're sleep deprived. We don't give ourselves enough time to breathe and to rest. And so, as a symbol of signifying our beginning of Sabbath, I would like to use this crystal bowl. And so I just invite you to take a moment and breathe. And allow the tone to vibrate with you. This is the tone of F, and it is attuned to what we know as the heart chakra. And so I just invite you to breathe into it, and then we'll go into a song from Lauren and a little quiet time.
This inner space has the power to set me free. It's the cavern of creation and the truth of you and me. This inner space, an eternity of time. It's the moment of the holy now and the allness that is mine. Contains all that I need. From deep within the invisible flows the living air I breathe. This inner space is flowing in my bones. It stirs my heart, stirs my mind, and every prayer I've ever known. So I say, breathe. space is the ocean of your soul. And when you feel most broken, the truth is you are whole. This inner space connects us one and all. And though it will never push you, it will break down every wall. For this inner space invites us to renew. In all my endless choosing, I become the chosen to this inner space. It never knows the past, but in the quiet place you can hear it, and it might just make you laugh. So I say, breathe, just breathe. Now breathe this peace. This inner space.
So I invite you to close your eyes if they're not already closed. And just breathe. Take a conscious breath. Breathing into this inner space. The space within you, within your conscious awareness. Allow that breath to draw your focus from the outer as much as possible, drawing all of your awareness to the inner, to that secret chamber of the Most High within you, where you do commune with the life energy, the very breath of the divine, the breath of God that is breathing you in every moment, breathing itself into expression as you. And as you breathe, just imagine that you are connecting with that breath, with that eternal breath of God. Being energized by that breath, being comforted in that breath, being healed in that breath. Knowing that you are always in the flow. In fact, you are the very flow of that divine breath in every moment. And so this is an opportunity, a Sabbath opportunity, to simply breathe. Allow the breath to restore you. As you breathe in the awareness of that life. As you exhale, let everything go that doesn't serve your highest good. Anything that needs to be released. Allow the breath to be that which cleanses, purifies. Just as it purifies the body, it feeds the body with oxygen, purifies the body on the exhale of the carbon dioxide. Just imagine you're feeding yourself as you breathe in, you're releasing as you breathe out. The power of breath to reconnect you. The wholeness, the allness, of God that you are. And so in a silence, I invite you just to focus on breath. Give yourself the gift of this Sabbath moment of breath, breathing in and breathing out. As you breathe in, you might connect with the energy of this sacred space and the energy that has been brought into this space for decades. Truly a holy space. You might breathe in the energy of those who are gathered in this space, the God energy that is present in each one, as each one expressing. Just allow the breath to reveal itself to you, however it needs to reveal it to you, whatever you need in this moment to refresh your body, to restore and rejuvenate your spirit and your soul. Many of us might remember that the fourth of the 10 Commandments is to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. And Wayne Muller says it's the only one of the 10 that begins with the word remember. And he says because it's something we know. We already know how important it is to stop and to rest, and it's a call to remember. A Unity teacher, minister, author Eric Butterworth writes about that as well in his book, Breaking the 10 Commandments. And he says, remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. The spirit of this commandment means to take time to let Spirit breathe life into your whole being, to pause and become centered in the divine flow of life, love, and substance. The word holy means whole. There is a wholeness within you always. Wherever Spirit is, all the whole of Spirit must be. And because Spirit is omnipresent, the whole of Spirit must be present in its entirety at every point in space at the same time. The Sabbath day is the time, any time, when you remember the allness of God that is present right where you are in the fullness of all that you, as the fullness of all that you are and all that you need or desire. So Sabbath is not an edict, something that we must adhere to, not a rule to live by. It's an invitation. I see it as an invitation. An invitation for us for spirit, for us to connect with spirit. It's a call, I think, from spirit, the allness of spirit, and our own spirits, to listen, to pay attention, to come back into that place of wholeness. I talked about that last week a little bit, that place of knowing our wholeness, to connect with that inner presence. Sometimes in traditional Christianity, that's referred to as Lord, the Lord of our being, which simply means that self-existent one within us. We call forth the awareness of that in our Sabbath time. And we call forth the awareness of what we also think of as, have often referred to as the Holy Spirit. As Butterworth said, the whole of Spirit is present everywhere, in its fullness, everywhere. Which means it is present in its fullness as you and as me and as all of us. And so I see that as our opportunity to connect with that wholeness, the whole Spirit, the Holy Spirit, if you will, of the divine. And so I invite you just to be with that. Connect with your inner wholeness that is present all the time.
There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of loves, where my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for, to be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. There's nothing worth more that could ever come close. Nothing can compare. You're our living hope. Your presence, Lord. I've tasted and seen of the sweetest of love, when my heart becomes free and my shame is undone. Your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what our hearts long for, to be overcome by your presence, Lord. Your presence, Lord. of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence. Let us experience the glory of your goodness. Let us become more aware of your presence, Lord. Holy Spirit, you are welcome here. Come flood this place and fill the atmosphere. Your glory, God, is what my heart longs for, to be overcome. By your presence, Lord.
So I ask you now if you're willing to invite that. Invite that to be your affirmation, your declaration, your desire. To truly allow the awareness of the divine, the whole Spirit of God, to be present here, right now, in your consciousness. You may feel it as an energy, you may see it, you may hear it, you may just sense something arising within you, a flame of the Holy Spirit. Whatever it is for you, it is unique and special to each and every one of us. Some awareness. Maybe it's the quality of the tone of the piano. Maybe it's the quality of the tone of Lauren's voice. Maybe it's something within you, a memory within you that calls forth this awareness and allowing yourself to just be consumed by it, to be overcome by it, to allow it to overcome your fear, to allow it to overcome your grief, to allow it to overcome your pain, to allow it to be that which heals and restores. Because that awareness is yours to claim in this moment, in this Sabbath moment. It is always present. It is never outside of you. It's only as outside of your conscious awareness. And your opportunity, our opportunity in every moment is to invite it in. Come, Holy Spirit. Come, presence of that divine, self-existent Lord that each of us is within. Come into my awareness now. Let me know your presence. Let me feel that presence. Let me hear that presence. Let me see that presence. I choose in this moment to experience it in my own moment of Sabbath. Connecting with the divine in this moment at whatever level you are willing and able to now. So as we go into another time of silence, I invite you to consciously invite the awareness of that presence. However you experience it, you may have a vision. You may have a conversation. You may just have a sense of a presence that is here in this place. A presence that is within you and all around you. Open your heart and your mind to that experience. And remember to breathe. I invite you now just to take another conscious breath. Just notice what is happening for you in this moment. Whatever might be arising. If it's a peacefulness, if it's maybe an agitation, maybe it's some discomfort. Just invite the experience of the moment. Knowing that you are in the perfect place at the perfect time. There are no coincidences. You are here because your spirit called you here. So I just invite you to allow yourself to receive whatever it is that you've called forth for yourself today. And know that the Spirit within you, the whole Spirit within you, is always here helping you to grow through, to experience whatever you need to experience. Your Spirit calling forth the highest and best for you. So trust, rest, relax into the now moment as you experience whatever you're experiencing. Notice if you're resisting anything, and try to just breathe into the resistance. Take a breath. Also in this book, Wayne Muller's book, he quotes Thomas Merton in the very, very first part of the book on page 3. And he begins it by saying, Brother David Steindl-Rast, who I've quoted several times, who is a monk, and he is all about, his whole focus is on gratitude. But Brother David Steindl-Rast reminds us the Chinese pictography for busy is comprised of 2 characters, heart and killing. And Thomas Merton says, there is a pervasive form of violence, contemporary violence, and that is activism and overwork. The rush and pressure of modern life are a form, perhaps the most common form of this innate violence. To allow oneself to be carried away by a multitude of conflicting concerns, to surrender to too many demands, to commit oneself to too many projects, to want to help everyone in everything, is to succumb to violence. The frenzy of our activism neutralizes our work for peace. It destroys our own inner capacity for peace. It destroys the fruitfulness of our own work because it kills the root of inner wisdom. which makes work fruitful. And so our busyness, as Thomas Merton says, is a form of contemporary violence. And what is the solution to the violence? Well, one of the solutions might be Sabbath. When we think about the busyness of our lives, I've thought about this week, and in relationship to violence. And I understand what he's saying from my perspective is that we do exact violence on ourselves in our busyness. We exact violence on other people, our fellow human beings in our busyness. And we exact violence on our earth and our environment in this rush, this busyness that we're involved in. And we're so busy in our lives, some of us accumulating and working. Sometimes we work or we think, well, and I can relate to that because there's something about finding our value or believing we're valuable because we're doing. If we're not doing something, we have a sense that we're not contributing, or we're not valued, or we're not valuable, we don't belong. Something about our society, I think, teaches us that being productive is what gives us value in the world. And so we work and we strive and we try to do more in order to prove ourselves worthy. Sometimes we live in a society of consumerism, and I'm guilty of it. We want more. Many of us, I'm not saying we all do, but many of us just want more. We want bigger houses. We want more cars. I was driving and walking around the other day, and I was thinking, isn't it interesting how so many houses have 3-car garages now? When I was a kid, 1-car garage was pretty much it. Houses are much bigger than they used to be, many times. I was also driving around the other day noticing how many self-storage places there are. How much stuff do we need? We're paying money to store our stuff that we probably don't ever look at. I know I'm guilty. And then when we do that, we want more. We want it cheaper. We want it more, and I think sometimes we don't realize what a toll that takes on our fellow human beings sometimes. That there are people in other countries who are producing these cheap goods for us, and they're not being paid a living wage. They live in poverty, many of them, because we want cheaper stuff. So we exact violence on each other. And I know it sounds harsh to say violence, but in a way it really is. Physical, emotional, spiritual violence. And we can see that because of that, we want so much more, especially, and I'm just going to say, especially in America. We live in that kind of society. I was reading something earlier this week about that in America we have about 5% of the world's population, but we consume over 17% of the world's natural resources in America. And that if everyone around the world lived a lifestyle similar to those of us in America, it would take 5 Earths to supply the resources. So it's just something to think about, and why is that? And then we look at the environment and we look at the fires and the smoke that we're experiencing here, and the people who are being affected by the fires, the wildfires around us and all over the country and certainly around the world, the natural disasters. And we are exacting violence on our environment because we want so much. We have to have so much. We're producing so much in the world. And I think that's because we lose our connection. We've lost our connection. Not only with, well, we lost our connection with the divine. We're so busy that we don't stop and have our own Sabbath connection time. We don't rest in that place. And because of that, we lose our connection with each other. And we lose our connection. We're one with all creation. We're one with all people. We're the same. And yet, if we knew that, if we really took time to know that, feel that, experience that, live that, could we possibly continue to exact the level of violence that we exact on other people and our world? I don't think we could. When I know that I am one with God, when I know that I'm one with the God in me, I know that I'm one with the God in you. And if I know I'm the one with the God in you, how can I possibly consciously do anything that would harm you? How could I possibly do anything that would harm you? If I knew you for who you truly are as the divine, as God expressing, could I do anything other than just fall at your feet and say, what can I do? Not what can I take? What can you give me? What can I do? And I think the same thing, if we really knew that we're one, and that is our primary unity principle. There is one power, one presence, God. By whatever name or nature you know it to be, there's one. And if we really knew that, could we possibly continue to exact the violence that we exact on our earth and our environment? I'm asking myself the question, I'm asking you the question, I'm asking all of us the question. We don't and I think the bottom line is we continue to do that because we don't take time to know who we are. To really know who we are. And that's really the meaning of Sabbath. To stop the busyness. That's why at one point stores weren't open on Sunday. So you don't go out shopping. You stay at home. People used to not work on Sunday, believe it or not, because it was a time to connect. So it seemed really important to me today to talk about Sabbath and to not just talk about it, but to invite us into that experience. Wayne Muller tells a story. It's a really quick little story. It's a tale. He says, Rabbi Levi saw a man running in the street, and he asked him, "Why do you run?" He replied, "I'm running after my good fortune." Rabbi Levi tells him, "Silly man, your good fortune has been trying to chase you, but you are running too fast." So are we running too fast? What are we chasing? What are we really chasing after? I think our deepest desire, the desire of our hearts, I believe, is to know ourselves as the divine, to experience that and to come back into that place of deep rest, as in the Hebrew, that God created, and on the seventh day, God created menuha, peace, tranquility. That our lives are too void of that. So I invite us to stop the chasing, to be aware that we're running sometimes, be aware of what we're running after, and come back home to what we really want, and allow things to move from there, to be born from there, that place of peace and rest.
So many words to say, but I'm opting for silence. So many days to live, I think I'm sitting this one out. 'Cause something I've been chasing finally stopped to let me catch it. Something I've been longing for and dreaming about. It's a whisper in my ear, it's a shiver up my spine. It's the gratitude I feel for all that's right. It's a mystery appeal that's been granted me tonight. This peace, something so elusive, something close but far away. It's the home that I can't live in yet, somewhere in outer space. And sometimes I barely miss it when I walk into the room. The curtains are still swaying and I feel the air move, and it whispers in my ear and it shivers up my spine. It's the gratitude I feel for all that's right. It's a mystery appeal that's been granted me tonight. This peace. No time to grab a camera, no time to write it down, just time enough to breathe it in and linger. It's a mystery appeal that's been granted me tonight. This peace, this peace.
So let's just take a moment and breathe into that space of peace. And the song talked about gratitude and the powerful energy of gratitude. Being grateful. The Sabbath can be a time of connecting with that gratitude within, the gratitude, the energy, and all that you feel grateful for. Allowing that feeling of gratitude, gratefulness, to arise within you from the space of knowing your divine nature, knowing your wholeness. The gratitude that comes from that space of conscious awareness. I'm grateful to know who I am. I'm grateful to know myself as an expression of that divine life. I'm grateful to know that is your truth as well. I'm grateful for the earth. I'm grateful for the air I breathe. I'm grateful for the sun and the moon. I'm grateful for the water. I'm grateful. The energy of gratitude, connecting with that is a perfect expression of Sabbath. Extending that gratitude out into the world. Allow that gratitude to bring a smile to your face, a smile to your heart. And bring into that space all of the people in your life that you feel gratitude for. Know that they feel it as you share it. Extend that gratitude out into the world, touching the hearts and the minds of all humanity. Knowing that all consciousness is uplifted in that energy of gratitude. Feel a gratitude for this very moment. This moment in time where you are alive. You're alive in this moment to be the expression of that divine life. Life breathing itself as you. Breathing you into being. What more could bring a sense of gratitude to your heart? And so we breathe. And that gratitude. So Sabbath doesn't have to be a whole day, doesn't have to be a whole hour. It can be a few minutes, right? Some of you know that I am leaving tomorrow for sabbatical. I'll be. Are you clapping because I'm going to be gone for 6 weeks? I'll be gone for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yeah, I am blessed to be able to do that. I know that there are many people who never have that opportunity. And I am blessed and I am grateful for that. So I will be out for 6 weeks. Trish will be here most of the time I'm gone. We'll have a couple of guest speakers while I'm out. But I just want to say thank you to the council here. Thank you to all of you for giving me this time to be away and to experience an extended time of Sabbath. But I encourage you, even if you can't get away for 6 weeks or even a week, to spend some time every day, even if it's just 6 minutes, Spend some Sabbath time. Light a candle. Listen to some inspirational music. Go for a walk in nature. Do something for yourself that nourishes you and nurtures your soul and your spirit. To get quiet, connect with God. Connect with that divine presence within you. Because it is healing and restoring and rejuvenating. And we just don't often take time in our busyness to stop and rest and breathe and to allow. And so I encourage you to do that. So now it's time when we share. If you are watching virtually, there are many options for you to do that. To contribute financially to this ministry. If you are here in our sanctuary and you haven't already done that electronically, you can do it on your app if you have the app. Or you can write a check or leave some cash in the baskets as you leave. But we appreciate you so much, all of you, for continuing to support this ministry throughout this time when we haven't been meeting or weren't meeting, and now we're having a meeting in smaller groups. But we continue to need your support and value your support. So thank you, all of you, for that. So I invite you to join me now as we say our offertory blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
Alarms, clock screaming, bare feet hit the floor. It's off to the races, everybody out the door. I'm feeling like I'm falling behind in this crazy life. 90 miles an hour, going fast as I can, trying to push a little harder, trying to get the upper hand. So much to do in little time, it's a crazy life. I'm ready, set, go, it's another wild day when the stress is on the rise. In my heart I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to just breathe. Third cup of joe just to make it through the day. Wanna make the most of time, but I feel it slip away. I wonder if there's something more in this crazy life. I'm busy, 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 gotta keep it da-da-da, but I'd only have time for me. There's gotta be something more to this crazy life. I'm hanging on tight, it's another wild day when it starts to fall apart. In my heart I hear you say, just breathe, just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Chaos calls, but all you really need is to take it in to fill your lungs, the peace of God that overcomes. Just breathe. Let your weary spirit rest. Lay down what's good and find what's best. Just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe. Come and rest at my feet and be, just be. Come and rest, 'cause all you really need is to just breathe. Just breathe.
Thank you, Lauren, as always. Just amazing, amazing, amazing. Thank you. And thank you all for being here, whether you're here in person or whether you have been watching virtually. We're so happy that you chose to spend part of your Sunday morning with us. Just a few things I want to remind you about before we close, and I don't have a list, so hopefully they're up there. Youth and Family Ministry, always at 11:15 on Sundays. Our Youth and Family Ministry Director, Natalie Simons, does a wonderful job of our children's lessons. I've encouraged you to watch them, and I still encourage you to watch them. Go back and watch them. If you go on YouTube or Facebook, they're still there. They're amazing lessons. They're fairly short, but they're very inspirational, so I encourage you to watch them. What's coming up next is, Youth and Family Ministry. We do still need some support there, volunteer support there. We have decided this past week, we did decide to not yet reopen preschool, so we are not in need yet of preschool volunteers because of they don't wear masks and all of that. So we just want to be careful and as cautious as we can to protect our children and our volunteers. So we're not going to open preschool yet. But we are going to have, we need people to help out in Children's Garden, and we do have Uniteens coming up and other children. So if you are interested and willing to support, please contact Natalie in the office. New member class, Trish will be facilitating a new member class on August 28th here at the center. And if you're interested in becoming a member, we do ask that you attend that. If you just want to come and learn more about Unity or Unity Spiritual Center Denver, please come and do that. We would love to have you be a part of that. And on the 5th, we do have a special speaker, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson will be here. She was the minister for quite a while in Orlando, Florida. She's now doing her own ministry, and she will be our guest speaker on the 5th of September. And on the 29th of August, Denise Rosier will be here with music and message, so you don't want to miss that. What else is coming up? The Women's Feminine Energy Retreat is coming up Labor Day weekend. And if you identify with feminine energy, then you are welcome to attend that. I'm sure there are spaces still available. Monica's here, and I'm sure if you have any questions, she'd be happy to answer your questions if you have any questions about that. And I think that's it, right? Yes. So thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you when I get back. So for now, I invite you to stand as we sing say our closing prayer and sing our closing song. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. Now, if you like, join us as we sing Love Can Move the World.
Love can move the world as the moon and the sky moves the sea. Love can cause the wars to cease. Love can move this world to peace. It's a tie that begins with you and me. Love can move the world as the warmth of the sun moves the trees. Feel the wind of love increase as we move this world to peace. Come love the world with me. Come love the world with me.
Thank you.